Hello, and welcome to the next ReeVlog. I'm currently waiting outside my doctor's, so I've got a physio appointment in like 27 minutes. However, it's like 29 degrees today. It's not good for me. I have a bad feeling that I'm going to be having a lovely fatigue flare-up later today, if not tomorrow. Thankfully, I don't have too much to do. I was going to do my black belt training tomorrow, because I've got the following day off, so it won't be the last day of my 4 for break, because I've got 5. But that following day off, I need to take Kung Fu, which means I need to go to Kung Fu and teach the class. Which, if I'm as bad as I was, not yesterday, but the day before, in terms of fatigue, it's not happening. Because of that, I've decided to not push myself anywhere near as hard as I would have been. Because if it's as hot as today, which isn't as hot as the day before yesterday, but if it is as hot as today on Wednesday, I'm going to be struggling to get to and do Kung Fu anyway. But if it's as hot as the other day, tomorrow, and I was doing the black belt training, it wouldn't just take 8 hours, it would take like 30 hours, considering it took me like a minute to walk into the kitchen from my bedroom and get water and come back, which is usually maybe a 10-second job at most. Yeah, I'd be struggling, and it hurt a lot to do. Bloody fatigue. Hey ho, energy drink. But I've got to do stuff still. Day before yesterday, I didn't get my dailies done. I didn't do my walking. I didn't take my supplements. Today, I've done my dailies. I've done some writing. I haven't taken my supplements yet, so I might end up forgetting that, because my plan is do the physio, go to my mum's to do a bit of Kung Fu in my training space, and see her and her friend who's come over from Australia, because I've not seen her friend who lives in Australia for many, many years, as many as she hasn't. But also, you know me, I'm kind of awkward, so I don't want to see it for too long. So then come back, supplements, and hopefully have a D&D-esque thing this evening. Hopefully it'll also cool down during that time. Unfortunately, I've left my watch in the flat. I put it on charge. So at least it'll be on full charge by the time I get back. Does mean that tracking my heart rate's going to be nearly impossible, though, which kind of sucks, because it has been more variable with the increased fatigue flare-ups. Sometimes I've just been walking along and it's been like 124, but sometimes when I'm walking along it's like 59. Huge variability at the moment, seemingly at random. Obviously, when I have caffeine, it's higher base, usually around 70, 80. But the fact that it can just jump, again, it wasn't doing that over the cooler months with my new job, indicates that it is in some way related to my fatigue. I don't know whether it is a correlation, my heart rate jumps, triggers the fatigue, or the reverse of the fatigue triggers a heart rate jump. But there is something going on there, because they seem to only happen together. But enough about that and the bad things. Good things. The writing is going well. I think that I'm probably at about 18,000 words now. Still in chapter 4. Had a big discussion with my friend who is also writing. Yesterday we had a cool. That was good fun. We both got some stuff out of it that I think will help with our writing. For me, it was help with a descriptor of a character, and then for him, it was something else that apparently was useful that I said. And then we went on to discuss making a TTRPG, because he's been sort of hybridizing a couple and to make his own ready for us to play when we go to France later in the year. So, that's exciting stuff. I was happy to help him out with that and work on that together. He also said, due to the amount I contributed, if he ever publishes it, which would be for free, he's not going to charge anything, my name would go on it, which would be cool. Be my, I believe, third piece of published work. Whoop whoop. But yeah, so that was good. Before that, played some Space Marine 2 Horde mode with my friends. It's fun. I still prefer Annihilation mode, but Horde mode, specifically with friends, is great. I don't think it's something that I'd be doing on my own with like randoms, not on voice, that sort of thing. But it is fun. However, playing Space Marine 2 does cause my computer to overheat, especially in this weather. So I can't really do it for very long, and I have to put some ice near my computer to keep the air around it cooler, to help it remain cooler for longer, but without letting any of the condensation from the ice packs get on the computer, because obviously you're not meant to get it wet. Exercise wise, my daily basics are continuing currently as they are. I've got my hollow body hold, minimum of 30 seconds every day. Obviously didn't do it on the super high fatigue day a couple days ago, but the aim is to do it every day, even if I've got moderate fatigue, because that should be my base, for now, baseline of I should be able to do that every single day, even with the super high fatigue, which is what I'm currently working towards. It should be easy on most days, and then it'll just become challenging on the super hard days. So I've got that. I've got crunches, oblique sit-ups, I've got push-ups, and I've got squats. Most of the time for the squats at the moment, I'm getting into a snake stance from Kung Fu, loosely. Doing squats in that position, and just doing 5 each side, doing a jump squat to change stance, so from right foot forward to left foot forward, or vice versa, or as the 5th one. So say I started right foot forward, it'd be do 4, on the 5th one, jump up, change stance, do 4, jump up, change back. That's been, I think, more helpful than normal squats. Today I did normal squats, but for the most part I do it in stance, and I'm thinking I might build it to 10 each side with no, it wouldn't be the 4th one, it'd be the 5th one, it'd be jump change. But anyway, the last one each side being jump change, just because that's more functional for my needs. You got those specific adaptations to imposed demands. So if I'm imposing the demand of squatting down in that position and getting back up again, that's effectively ducking a punch, like dip, duck, dive, dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a punch. Yeah, that's pretty much that. And so if I train that way rather than feet shoulder width apart squat, I think it's going to be more beneficial. Plus it's going to use, well, it feels more like it kind of might use my adductors, which I don't really have much of a good way of training other than isometrics and some very awkward resistance band stuff at the minute. So that's an added bonus. Yeah, physio is where I am now. Oh, before physio, I've started running. Woo! I've done 2 runs and a bit so far. I did 2 at work. I managed to get enough time on a break to do 5k training runs. So when I say I've started running, I've redoing the Zombies Run 5k training program. which isn't how I started running. I started running just off of Zombies Run Basic, and then I moved it on to the 5K training program at the same time, because at the time I couldn't afford to buy it, but the Zombies Run 5K is free. So it's on the ZRX app, if anyone wants to get it. That's Zulu, Romeo, X-Ray. But yeah, so I've done 2, and I started the 3rd one, but then I've got a weird thing with my index toe on my left foot, where it's meant to be like flat, it curves round sometimes, and I'm not sure why, and I think it's less likely to do it if I'm wearing my toe spacers, because that'll put resistance in it trying to turn. So I think that I'm going to have to wear those if I go again, but that was like full barefoot rather than in shoes, which maybe that's why, but that shouldn't happen. You should be able to walk barefoot without worrying about your toe rotating to a point where it's painful. But the training currently, week 1, as it is, there's 3 on week 1, it's walk 10 minutes, run 15 seconds, walk 45 seconds, repeat 10 times, well, repeat a further 9 times, so you do it 10 times total, and then free-form run for 10 minutes. The first run I did, the freeform run, was like 50-50 as an estimate. The second one was almost entirely walking. But that's just a matter of energy levels. The first one I did with my breathing restriction mask thingy, which was harder. I took it off for the freeform run, but all of the smaller 15-second run parts and stuff like that I did with it on, which I was quite happy with. I just adjusted how difficult it was. It was very sweaty at the end, kind of like I am now. Whew, I don't know if you can see me shining, but I am. Yeah, so running, good. Need to do skipping as well. I've found my old Finsta, I believe is the term, fitness Instagram account, back from 2019. I've revived that. It's fully private. Don't try and find it. Don't try and follow it. You will not follow it. I will not accept your following it. It's just for me. But I've got that back again. And I was looking through it this morning, and old me, back in 2019, 2020, 2021, back when I used it, man, I trained so much. Admittedly, I was unemployed at the time, so I had the time to train, and I also didn't have a chronic illness that prevented me from training properly. But I used to go for between 1 and 3 runs a day. I did some, not a lot, but some free weights, and also had a higher than currently minimum daily bodyweight exercise that I usually did. I'm envious of younger James. I'll get back to it. Somehow I'll kick this chronic disease, I say disease, illness, in the privates. Ass, that's what I was going to say. Kick its ass. How? When? We'll figure that out. I think my current supplements are helping. Currently, I've ran out of one, but I'm going to stop. I've not bought any more. I'm going to continue supplementing my other supplements without that one, see if it makes a negative impact. If so, I'll go back to including that one. Because that's the only way I can really tell whether it's part of the positive effect. So, if I deteriorate over the next week at all, because I ran out last week, then I will get more, go back to supplementing it. My diet is partially helpful. The eating more fish is still a difficult part for me, largely because the aftertaste, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't like having a strong aftertaste in my mouth for a long time, and fish does last a long time. But I'm doing my best, okay? I'm doing what I can. Yeah. So, last thing before I go in, because this has been like quarter of an hour and I had 20-something minutes. If I get in earlier, it means if there's a queue, I can still sign in on time. Last thing is, this weekend I get to go and see my friends, which will be very nice. And I was going to have work on the Sunday, but I think that has now been cancelled, which Sunday is now going to be my black belt training day. Hopefully it'll be cool. Does mean very little, at most, alcohol on the Saturday, because it's like a party, just so that I'm not in bad condition on the Sunday. But that's fine by me, because I've got to drive back like 100 miles anyway, so I really shouldn't be drinking much. It just means that I'll have to come back a bit earlier than I otherwise would have, but not as early as if I had work, and get on it, because that would usually be day 2 of my... No, that'd usually be day 1 of my day off, but I've got the Saturday booked off to go to that party. So getting the black belt training done on day 1 of my days off means I then have day 2, 3, and 4 to recover, because I am going to be pushing myself. That's going to be right, let's take pre-workout with you in case you need it. Get started without it. Go through your thing, because I've got do a warm-up, do this circuit for this long, just keep going through it until that timer ticks, then do this bit of fitness training, then start Kung Fu proper, more or less. The idea is to take as few breaks as possible and roughly time myself to see when I start, when I finish, and how long it takes overall. I call it black belt training because it is do everything from the first belt to where you are now that you know in Kung Fu to the best of your ability, as if you were grading. Because black belt is do everything start to finish. Some of it I can't do, like sparring. I won't have a sparring partner. I won't have multiple sparring partners. I won't be able to do the drills that require other people properly. However, I can very quickly, and I will rush through those parts because I won't get the same physical exertion as I would with other people. I can very quickly do it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, and so on, just to make sure they're in my brain and I haven't forgotten them, so they're still trained, but then move on to a more physically demanding section quickly because it's that endurance that I need to train. My instructor said that should I get the physical capacity, I should be able to get my black belt within 2 years, which means I'll get it before I'm 30, which would be great. It's just a matter of putting in the time, putting in the effort, and hoping that I'm on the right path to resolving my fatigue-related issues, or at least diminishing them enough to do the grading. If I can't, then I will have to speak to my instructor, because we have sort of someone who had hernia, and he was exempt from certain parts due to that, because it's an ongoing health condition that we wouldn't want to make worse. But yeah, anyway, I've already got to go get into the doctors to sign in, so I'll catch you cats on the flip-flop. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.